let's go through these bullet points, translated from German to English, so people can follow. And I'd like to hear the response of Dr. True Ott, Dr. Carley, and Alexander S. Jones. Go ahead, Jane.
Well, I mean, the key thing is that 72 kilos of this live bird flu and influenza was sent out from Baxter, which is a huge quantity and cannot be explained away as an accident by any measure. And this Alois claim that the whole incident falls under veterinary laws, and he sent a vet to Baxter's laboratory to check out the laboratory, and the vet to other Green Hills Biotechnology. And there's no way on earth that this incident falls under the veterinary laws. So as more and more information comes out, it's becoming increasingly clear that this was deliberate, it was large scale, and that the health minister, and unfortunately one can only assume the chancellor and major politicians are covering this huge crime up.
Right. So in other words, they're following veterinary law, not biosafety 3 law, which are international laws, because a BSL-3 breach can cause a pandemic of known viruses that are sitting in these labs, and BSL-4, they can cause pandemics because they did before, like the H1N1 flu is sitting in labs all over the world, literally being used as a template and recombination to make a vaccine against the current circulating H1N1 because they're virtually identical except for one gene complex.
That's right. I mean, if he were to classify it as a bioweapon as it is, of course it would show how dangerous the incident is.
Right.
But by reclassifying it as veterinary laws, and sending a vet along, he's making it sound like it's a harmless thing only involving animals. And one thing that Stoger said was that this had nothing to do with human beings. It was just a purely, material designed for animals. So he's doing everything to make it sound perfectly harmless, and it isn't harmless, so this is a deliberate cover-up.
AVIR, of course, Green Hills, is the European division of AVIR Biotech in the 10th District in Illinois, which is the very district of the junior senator from Illinois, Mr. Barack Obama, now the current usurper-in-chief in the White House, the Kenyan, made in Kenya, so-called president.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And not only that, he was hauled before the Ethics Committee in 2005 for using the purchase of monies from his books to actually invest in AVIR Biotech, which is the very company involved with this. The same guy was hauled in front of the Ethics Committee, also involved with a world-class tracking and tracing company, the satellite-based company as well. Dr. Ott, you had some comments on this because this is quite significant, what Jane is talking about.
Yeah, the watchdog group Judicial Watch listed Barack Obama in 2007 as one of the top 10 nefarious corrupt politicians list for this very reason. Here he is doing nothing really as a junior senator, but promoting the bird flu pandemic agenda, trying to get monies allocated to groups like ABI Biopharma, et cetera, to develop vaccines. Now, this is when he's just a freshman senator in his first 2 months in office. And Judicial Watch broke the story that he has invested money into this very company, ABI Biopharma. And there was another pet project he had, and that is to track Americans using a company he was also invested heavily in called SkyTerra Technologies. Now, SkyTerra is the company that basically uses the satellites to read and track the RFID chips in your little pets and animals when they're chipped, but also will track them in humans when that occurs.
Right, and people think they're the big clunky chips they stick in pets. No. They have much more advanced ones that can be tracked from space, cell phones, Gwen towers, and other what's called police and other military police readers. They can actually aim it in direction and track chips from very great distances. We're not talking about 120 centimeters. They can know, like the NAIS chips, exactly where your butt is, down to a cubic meter.
That's right. That's
their plan, okay? People say, oh, no, they don't want to do that. Yes, they do want to do that. They do want to, and they all want to verify. In fact, I talked to Joyce Riley from the Power Hour 2.5 years ago. She was going through Houston, and I went back and verified it. Every single international airport in the U.S., Canada, Britain, and Australia has a hardened room for examination and an RFID chip verification site right there. So they have a quarantine evaluation room where they can, it's hardened, in other words, so they can literally on gunpoint evaluate you, and then they can transfer you to a quarantine facility. And every single airport with international flights, U.S., Canada, Britain, Australia, has these already in place over 2 years now.
That's right.
Already in place.
The elite somehow informed Barack Obama which stocks he should invest in and be the champion of. And I think, of course, that's why he ascended so rapidly to his high position.
Oh, yeah, well, because he was playing ball. His masters, George Soros, the drug lord of the Western world, Mr. Robert Wolf, the, Hank Greenberg of the Blackstone Group that benefited from 9/11 and the TARP, with billions of dollars they made out in insurance. I mean, these people are criminals of the highest order. They are literally heisting the world. Dr. Carley, your comments on this is pretty serious, what's going on here. And if we don't stop this, we're probably going to see them force vaccinating, which we know a lot of the people who were vaccinated in 1918 were the ones that died from the vaccine.
Exactly. And a couple of things I just want to mention about what Jane said, because I received the email she's referring to. I encourage your listeners to go to my website, drcarley.com, and sign up for my updates so you can get this information. I know Dr. Bill has lots of good stuff on his website, but it's so massive, it's hard to even keep track of it all, and I send out little tidbits actually every other day or so at this point now. But I just want to underline one of the things that she said. When she said huge quantity, she's talking about 72 kilograms of live bird flu. Now, everybody just visualize a virus. What do you think a virus weighs? I have no clue. What is 72 kilograms of virus? That is massive. That's a massive amount of virus.
And where did it come from, Dr. Carley? Where did they produce it, and at what facility?
Exactly, but see, the other important things that she mentions in her email is the fact that this same company is making a bird flu vaccine that's getting ready to be licensed. I mean, if that's not the smoking gun, I don't know what is.
Right.
But I want to also mention something else that she's talking about in regards to the ludicrous situation where they're saying that they're going to have the veterinarians investigate this. This is a bridge virus. This is a virus that can kill anything. That's why they created it, by putting it with a human flu virus. That's what they're intentionally creating. So how come they're just involving the veterinarians? I mean, that's a self-evident cover-up. I totally agree with what she said.
Yeah, amazing. 72 kilograms, to get an idea, is almost certainly more virus particles than stars in the known universe.
And you know where it came from? It came from WHO. The World Health Organization supplied Baxter with that live bird flu, and Baxter spokesmen themselves said that.
Where did they grow it, Jane? Where did they grow it, like Dr. Ott asked? Where is this incubator that can take a sample from WHO and grow 72 kilograms?
Well,
that's not a place I want to live.
Well, Baxter's spokesman said the whole 72 kilos of contaminated, whatever quantity that was, came from the WHO reference center, and I think it must be the CDC center in Atlanta.
By the way, they're using cell culture techniques. They're not just using the old egg membrane. In cell culture, and I know this from talking to numerous virologists over the last few years over this, they can grow an enormous amount of virus with cell cultures compared to a membrane. In just 2 weeks to 4 weeks, they can grow many kilos, and this is incredibly dangerous. It's a crime, and they haven't gone to jail. No one's been arrested, nothing. We'll be back in a moment with more analysis. Dr. True Ott, Dr. Carley, Alexander S. Jones, and Jane Bergermeister from Vienna. Welcome back, and just have a look at this article yourself. The Blomberg article, Flu is no typical pandemic. WHO tries to reassure, and of course they are edging up, and the actual report, Geneva-based agency, sometimes in the next 10 days will declare first flu pandemic in 41 years, say the people, and of course they're concerned about economic chaos, panic, and of course triggering a number of programs, including switching from making the regular winter flu vaccine, which is always incorrect and always toxic, to making a pandemic vaccine.